ASG White, this is Attorney Morrell with the Public Defender's Office. Can you check the chat for me? Well, I'm about to send you a message.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to begin with our expedited accusation calendar. Okay, we are addressing cases in courtroom one. The deputy in courtroom one, I can see the folks seated in the gallery, but I cannot see the person seated up front. Is there a way to bring the camera down so that we may? All right, while we're waiting for the camera to be adjusted, yeah, much better. Thank you so much. As I was saying, this is our expedited accusation calendar with the State Court of Fulton County for today, February 22nd, 2025. These are cases which have been in which individuals have been recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Their cases have now been formally accused by the prosecutor, who is the Fulton County Solicitor General. So today would be the defendant's first appearance. Please remember that if you are charged with one or more misdemeanor offenses, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about your case during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to represent you. When I call your case, I will let you know what's your new case number, what are the charges brought against you, appoint counsel where necessary, set bond, and give you a new court date. Ms. Bridgewater, do we have court date, please?
Yes, ma'am. It is going to be let me take that back. I'm skipping. I haven't been here on a Saturday in a minute, so let
Okay,
me give it to you in just a minute.
all right, no problem. Courtroom one, who is up first?
Position number 3, Gay.
All right, thank you. This is State versus Dominic Gay, accused of criminal trespass from February 21st of this year, case number 25 CR 912Y. Okay. Mr. Gay has got 18 arrest cycles with an open case in Superior Court for shoplifting and 24 PI 6905 and an open case for that's for trespass. The shoplifting case is 24, I'm assuming is PI 1624. Anything else to add, Mr. Howard?
Open case out of Clayton County for trespass. Also on probation for trespass. That's 24 CR 005 311Y. Entering auto with intent to commit theft or a felony. It's 23 SC 190-550. 1, 2.
So
Yes.
2 active probation cases and 18 cycles. Okay, thank you. Who's Mr. Merrill? Good afternoon. Are you
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Dominic Gray.
Is the state gonna go first?
Yes, the state normally goes first, so I'm so sorry. I just
It's okay.
my
Mr.
bad.
Morrell looks good. The state looks good on you, Mr. Morrell.
Thing, but the prosecutions are way too fast for me. All right, Ms.
Good
Russell,
afternoon.
good afternoon. And what's your recommendation for Mr. Gay?
Yeah, Your Honor, I will say this. It is a high recommendation, but the high recommendation is based on since 2021, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 criminal trespasses in the East Point and Atlanta Police Department area, or Atlanta, Fulton County area. My recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. Stay away from that sit-go. I understand, Your Honor, it is criminal trespass, but since 2021, he's been told not to go back at certain places, and he continues to go back. So that's why we're asking for that bond amount, Your Honor.
All right. Oh, Ms. Russell, don't be so humble. I've issued cash bonds for trespass in the past, so this will not be a novelty. Mr. Merrill?
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Gay, he's actually 25 years old. The allegations is that he was panhandling at the Citgo gas station. Your Honor, that shows that at once that he is having issues with or obtaining finances, basically, Your Honor. But he does have a valid address. So to prong one, as you see, even with 18 cycles, he doesn't have any failure to appear. So that shows that he's not a significant risk of fleeing from our jurisdiction, Your Honor. To factor number two about whether or not he poses significant risk of being a danger to the community, I understand that he does have open cases as well as the trespass, the probation cases, Your Honor. But I would just ask that he is given, it can be to a higher level of a signature bond, or we ask that the bond is set no higher than 1,000, Your Honor, because Mr. Gayen himself, he is sometimes he works with his father doing plumbing, but it's not a fixed income, Your Honor. It's not something very consistent, Your Honor. So that setting a bond too high would not allow him to be able to make bond. And as far as his father finances, Your Honor, he is, as indicated, is struggling. His father is living paycheck to paycheck, Your Honor. So I just ask that you set a bond at a higher UJR, Your Honor. If not inclined to do a UJR, then a $1,000 bond, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can I say this? I would like to just correct one thing. In July 25th, 2023, out of Fulton County, he does have a failure to appear. So
Okay, thank you. I was going to set it at $1,000 surety. He does have multiple open cases and multiple cycles within a very short time. So unfortunately, he doesn't qualify for a signature bond. $1,000 surety, he's to stay away from the Citgo gas station in question, and no illegal drugs, no alcohol. And his next court date is,
March the 6th.
next court date is March 6th at 9 a.m. And we'll see him then unless he bonds out. Thank you. I have in courtroom 2, I think that's a case that requires a interpreter.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, and who represents it?
That's going to be myself, Rashid Morel.
All right, and I think I see Miss Chancey is present. Have you had a chance to speak with him, Mr. Merrill?
Yes, Your Honor. I used our interpreter language line to be able to do the interview, Your Honor.
All right, courtroom 1, may I go ahead and, or courtroom, I'm going to go ahead and begin with gentleman in courtroom 2. And what's his name, please?
Jose, I have difficulty pronouncing the last name, but it's position number 2.
Okay, this is State versus Jose. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Chancey, we ready to go? All right, please unmute. Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry about that, huh?
No problem. Good afternoon. Ms.
Good
Chen,
afternoon.
do you solemnly swear and affirm the translation you provide will be a true and accurate interpretation with no changes or embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is State versus Jose Ivan Gallegos.
Esta es la Fiscalía versus José Iván Gallegos.
He is charged with driving while license suspended or revoked and tampering with evidence from February 21st of this year.
Él tiene un cargo por manejar sin o con una licencia suspendida o revocada mientras afectando o alterando la prueba de febrero 21 de este año.
Case number is 25CR911Y.
El número de caso es 25CR000911Y.
Mr. Gallegos, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you.
Señor Gallegos, usted tiene el derecho a guardar silencio todo lo que diga sobre los hechos de su caso durante este proceso virtual. Sus declaraciones pueden y serán usadas en su contra.
You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you, and presently Mr. Merrill will be your attorney.
Usted tiene el derecho a ser representado por un abogado. Si no puede pagar por uno, se le asignará uno para que lo represente y en la actualidad el señor Merrill será su abogado.
According to GCIC, go ahead, Mr. Howard. I have 18 arrest cycles.
Yep. 2024 probation.
Sí, probatoria del 2024
2023 failure to appear.
y del 2023 por incomparecencia ante el tribunal.
2023 interfering with public utility property.
en el 2023 un cargo por interferir con la propiedad de servicios pública.
He pled no to that.
Él se declaró nulo ante ese cargo.
2023 simple battery disorderly conduct no.
En el año 2023, un cargo por golpes y lesiones simples y por conducta negligente y también se declaró nulo.
2020 failure to appear.
Y del 2020 por incomparecencia ante el tribunal
2017 driving under suspension.
y del año 2017 por manejar con licencia suspendida.
Thank you. Ms. Russell?
Thank you, Your Honor. Where the state would show that on February 21st, 2025,
La fiscalía va a demostrar que en febrero 21 del 2025
Officer Purchase conducted a traffic stop on a blue 2009 Honda Civic.
el oficial Purchase fue conducido a hacer una detención de tránsito en un Honda Civic azul del 2009
and approached Mr. Gallegos as the driver.
y se acercó al señor Gallegos, que era el conductor.
Your Honor, at some point in time, Mr. Gallegos was asked for his license.
Su señoría, en un momento se le pidió al señor Gallego su licencia de conducir
And when that license was ran, it came back suspended
y cuando se chequeó la licencia, esa licencia estaba suspendida
out of for a failure to appear, and it was suspended in January of 2025.
y por la incomparecencia ante el tribunal y fue suspendida en enero del 2025.
Your Honor, at some point, the officer could smell marijuana when Mr. Gallegos was speaking to him.
Su señoría, el oficial pudo oler marihuana mientras el señor Gallegos estaba hablándole a él
And was asked to step out the car.
y se le pidió que saliera del carro.
And once he stepped out of the car, Mr. Gallegos had taken one of his hands out of or he was handcuffed, but then he had taken one of his hands out of the handcuffs.
Él se le pidió que saliera del carro y una vez que él salió del carro, el señor Gallego tenía las esposas puestas, pero él se había sacado, cuando salió del carro, las esposas.
And stated that he's double jointed and he needed to do that to swallow a little bit of marijuana that he had on him.
Que dijo que él tenía problemas con la articulación y que necesitaba tragar un poquito de marihuana que él llevaba consigo.
Because of him swallowing that marijuana, Your Honor, Mr. Gallegos was charged with the tampering with evidence and driving while license suspended and arrested.
Debido a el tragar esa marihuana, su señoría, el señor Gallego, se lo acusó con alterar la prueba y por manejar con una licencia suspendida y fue arrestado.
Your Honor, the state is requesting a $3,000 surety bond.
Su
No,
señor, oh, I'm
no,
sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no. Go ahead.
Señoría, la fiscalía está pidiendo $3,000 de fianza bajo garantía
No alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
y que se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
Thank you. Mr. Merrill?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jose, Your Honor, he's 30 years old, Your Honor. He's been living in Georgia since 2006, Your Honor, so he doesn't pose a significant risk of fleeing from our jurisdiction, Your Honor. I do recognize that the state and yourself is considering that he does have an FTA, Your Honor, but I was just pointing that he does have ties to our jurisdiction, Your Honor. He actually has
One moment, please.
Oh,
Sí, su
sorry.
señoría. El señor José tiene 30 años. Él ha estado viviendo en Georgia desde del 2016. Su señoría, él no significa que sea un riesgo de huida dentro de nuestra jurisdicción. Yo reconozco que él ha tenido una incomparecencia ante el tribunal y él está ahora demostrando que tiene relaciones en nuestra ciudad.
And sorry, Miss Chauncey, I didn't
No
mean.
problem, sir. No problem.
Um, Your Honor, he does have well, he is a father of two children. One of his child is now deceased, but he does have a 2-year-old, Your Honor.
Bueno, su señoría, él no, él es el padre de dos niños. Uno ha fallecido y el otro tiene 2 años.
As far as education, Your Honor, he is a high school graduate and he is currently working where he does house remodeling.
Con respecto a la educación, él se ha recibido de su escuela secundaria y en la actualidad está trabajando en la remodelación de residencia.
Your Honor, he is severely indigent and that his household, which includes his father, depends on his financial undertaking.
Su señoría, él es severamente indigente y su familia, incluyendo su padre, dependen de su sustento financiero.
So, with if he's remained in custody, his could have a grave effect on not only his father but also his living child.
Entonces, si él permanece en custodia, él podría tener un grave efecto no solamente en su padre, pero también en su hijo, el que sobrevive.
And Your Honor, despite him having an FTA, the defense is asking for a signature bond.
Su señoría, a pesar de que él tiene una falta por incomparecencia ante el tribunal, la defensa quisiera solicitar una firma bajo fianza. Perdón, una fianza bajo firma.
And Your Honor, we would ask that if not inclined to give a signature bond, a bond set no higher than a 500 on the tampering with evidence, Your Honor.
Y su señoría quisiera solicitar que si usted está inclinada a no darle una fianza bajo firma, se establezca una fianza que no sea mayor de $500 por alterar la prueba, su señoría.
And lastly, Your Honor, the defense will raise that it's the duty of the officer to make sure the handcuffs are double locked so that anyone double jointed can't get out of them.
Entonces, su señoría, la defensa quisiera también aclarar que es el deber del oficial asegurarse que las esposas estén doblemente trabadas. Si no, cualquier persona puede sacárselas.
Nothing, nothing further from the defense.
Nada más de parte de la defensa.
I don't know about the double jointed handcuff. I'll see whether that's government issue. But going back to the warrant, the officer indicated that he has a warrant out of Colorado. Is that, Mr. Howard, do you see anything on an out-of-state hold for him?
El
Uh,
oficial dijo que él tiene una orden de arresto de Colorado. Señor Howard, ¿usted ve algo que sea fuera del estado para él? ¿Una detención?
hold on. Let me look.
Un
Your Honor,
momento.
I can stay in my place. When I looked, I didn't see that. I looked specifically for that, and I didn't see it.
But it does
Um,
say that in the warrant, right?
it does say that in the warrant.
Su señoría, yo no vi nada cuando yo revisé el caso, pero lo dice en la orden de arresto, ¿cierto? Sí, está en la orden de arresto.
Okay.
And Your Honor, nothing in Odyssey says that he has a Colorado hold, just for this record.
Okay.
En el sistema Odyssey no establece, no se ve nada que diga que tiene una detención de Colorado.
Okay. On the driving while license suspended is $1,000 surety. On the tampering with evidence is 500. It's a total of a $1,500 surety. No driving unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate insurance, and proper registration.
Por manejar con licencia suspendida es $1,000 de fianza bajo garantía por alterar la prueba de 500, que lleva a un total de $1,500 de fianza bajo garantía. Mm, Está prohibido conducir a no ser que tenga una licencia válida y también el seguro adecuado y la registración apropiada.
No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and his next court date is March 6th at 9 a.m.
Se prohíbe el uso de drogas ilegales, el alcohol, armas y su próximo día de comparecencia es el 6 de marzo a las 9 de la mañana.
Thank you.
I do see a
Gracias.
warrant. It's on the bottom of the GCIC. Trinidad, Colorado.
Ah, Veo algo en la orden de arresto, está en la parte de abajo del GCLC.
Yeah, the date of that warrant is 2/28/2023.
Y se dice algo sobre Colorado y la fecha de ese caso es el 28 de febrero del 2023.
It's a FTA warrant.
Es una orden de arresto por falta de comparecencia ante el tribunal.
All right. Well, if the jail wants to put that on their records, then he may have to wait extradition if that's something that needs to be extradited.
Si la cárcel quiere poner eso en su registro, tendrá que esperar para extradición y eso es algo que necesita ser establecido.
Thank you.
Your Honor, can we
Gracias.
just, while we have the interpreter, can I just ask her to ask Mr. Jose if he understands that he has a warrant out of Colorado? Just so I
Señor José, ¿usted entiende que tiene una orden de arresto desde el estado de Colorado?
Sí, pero no es extraditoria.
Yes, but extradition does not apply.
Y voy
Okay,
a
no, that's okay. I just
Okay.
want to make sure. We'll talk. Thank you.
Ok, hablaremos después. Gracias.
All right, folks. Thank you so much. Next case, please.
Thank you.
Position number 8,
Your Honor, is there anybody else?
Yes, Miss ACDC or courtroom 1. Does
No,
anyone?
no, no. Yes, we do. He's in the back. He's trying to walk away, so we put him in the rear.
So he needs the services of a Spanish interpreter?
Yes, we do.
And what's his name?
Is that number 9? I'm assuming.
Yes, position number 9.
Who represents
Is Narciso Morales?
Yes, so good afternoon, Judge Law.
good
I
afternoon,
usually represent him, but I have not had an opportunity to speak with him, I guess because he was being held elsewhere.
No, that's not true. We put him on the phone to talk to you earlier. He hung the phone up on you. He refused to talk to you.
Oh, wait, which person, is this Mr. Morel? Which position is it?
Position number 9, yes.
All right, let's see now. Jonathan Narciso Morales.
But this is not him in the chair. This is position number 8.
Oh, no, that's not a problem. I just want to give the defendant who needs to speak with his attorney an opportunity to speak with the, oh, there he is, courtroom 2.
I have him right here.
Okay, excellent.
Okay,
And-
so he wanted to proceed pro se. He's the one that hung up, I believe. Is that right?
All right.
Él
Miss-
quiere representarse a sí mismo.
Ms. Chansey, can you ask Mr. Morales
Yes.
if he would like to speak with an attorney with regards to his case? He has a right to counsel, and if he cannot afford one, our public defense attorney is willing to speak with him.
Señor Morales, ¿usted quisiera hablar con un abogado con respecto a su caso? Usted tiene derecho a ser representado por un abogado y si usted no puede pagar por uno, nuestra abogada pública está dispuesta a hablar con usted.
Quiero saber qué cargo es.
¿Quiere saber qué?
Cargo es.
Hable más fuerte, por favor.
Quiero saber qué cargos son, ¿no?
Oh, I would like to know the charges.
You're charged with criminal trespass, and this is his first arrest.
Este es su primer arresto y usted tiene un cargo por allanamiento de morada.
Ok, entonces, ¿cuánto estamos hablando ahí?
Hable más fuerte, por favor.
O sea, ¿de cuánto dinero estamos hablando ahí?
Stop.
So how much money are we talking about?
Stop, Miss Chansey. Miss Chansey, tell him to sit up straight and speak clearly.
Por favor, siéntese derecho y hable con claridad.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you.
Usted tiene el derecho de guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted diga en un tribunal público puede y será usado en su contra.
You have a right to appointed counsel. If you cannot afford one, one will speak with you right now and answer your questions.
Usted tiene el derecho a tener un abogado asignado por el tribunal. Si no puede pagar uno hablará con usted ahora y le contestará sus preguntas.
Would you like an opportunity to speak with an attorney, or would you like to proceed self-represented? That is, representing yourself.
¿Quisiera usted tener la oportunidad de hablar con un abogado ahora o usted quiere proceder solo, autorrepresentándose?
If you choose to represent yourself, you are responsible for understanding the criminal laws, procedures, and how they apply to the facts of your case.
Si usted elige representarse a usted mismo, usted es responsable por entender las leyes penales, los procedimientos y cómo se aplican a los hechos en su caso.
Yo solo me represento.
I want to represent me.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the response. He wants to do what?
Repítamelo, por favor, fuerte.
I'm also, I try and see what charges I've got. That's it.
I understood that. Was that English?
Yes. Your Honor.
You are charged with criminal trespass. Now you're going to answer this question. Do you want to speak through an attorney, or do you want to represent yourself?
I would like to speak with an attorney.
Okay. You want
He
to speak?
speaks perfect English, Your Honor.
I seem so. All right. Miss Jenks, we're going to put you into a breakout with courtroom 2. And Miss Chansey, I'm going to put you in the breakout room 2. And if Miss Jenks and the defendant are comfortable that he understands English with a reasonable degree of comprehension, then Miss Chansey, you are free to go.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right. If the host will please place courtroom 2, Attorney Jenks and Miss Chansey in the breakout, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Courtroom 1, we have position 8, I believe. This is Terrence Milton, accused of criminal trespass in case number 25 CR 902F. This is an incident from February 20th, 2025. Mr. Milton, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Merrill.
You got 20 total. On probation for trespass, obstruction, terrorist threats. It's 24 CR 003-942J. 2024 probation, 2024 FTA, 2020 FTA.
Thank you. Miss, oh, I guess we're waiting. Okay, good.
Oh,
Miss Russell, yes, please proceed.
but I think, is it your case, Mr. Morrell? Or
No,
is it Ms.
Your Honor.
Jenks?
I mean,
That's
not.
the thing.
Yes. So this is going to be Ms. Jinks' case. I can go through some of the positions that I do have that I think I see in the courtroom.
Can I give my recommendation, and maybe it's a I'm asking for a 1,000 good bond.
We gotta have Miss Jenks present. Okay.
I'm representing myself.
Oh, Mr. Terrence, are you choosing to represent? I'm sorry. Mr. Milton, are you representing yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I'll need to have Miss Jenks present. Have you spoken to her?
No, I hired someone yesterday.
Have you spoken with Rachel Jenks, the public defense attorney?
I don't need to speak with her. I just heard what she said.
That's not the answer to my question. Deputy, we're going to put Mr. Milton on hold and take the next case, please. Mr. Merrill, which positions do you represent?
Yes, Your Honor. I have position number 1, which is Arthur Brown.
Number 1.
Okay, start with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Chelsea Gibson, if you're in bed, get out of bed. All right. Okay, this is position number 1, Arthur Brown, accused of harassing communications from October 9th, 2024 His case number is 25CR910C. Mr. Brown has been advised of the right to remain silent, and his attorney is Mr. Merrill. Any 22 cycles? Okay.
Yeah, you got to open ag assault battery 24 PI 005-736. On probation out of Rockdale. Simple battery family violence. 2022 FTA probation. 2018 trespass conviction. 2017 disorderly conduct conviction. He had a 2016 battery DV that was dismissed. 2015 FTA.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, where the state was shelled out on October 9th, 2024. Miss Jasmine Hutchinson, who was the victim, called police, and Officer Thurman responded to 3307 Spanish Trail, apartment 11 in East Point here in Fulton County for threats by a phone. Your Honor, Miss Hutchinson was speaking with the officers when she told them that her ex-boyfriend, Arthur Brown, had been calling and text messaging her multiple times. She had told him to stop. At some point while on scene, Your Honor, Mr. Brown again made several phone calls from his telephone number against Miss Hutchinson's wishes. Miss Hutchinson stated in the officer's presence, Your Honor, that she wished to have no further communication from him. And a few minutes later, he started, to make phone calls successively, one after the other, and 4 within that officer's presence, and continue to harass her about having broken up the relationship. Your Honor, you heard the defendant has multiple cycles. Specifically, I just want to talk about the FTA out of Fulton County from 2022. There was also an FTA out of DeKalb County in 2015 that wasn't mentioned. I do want to make mention that the battery and the aggravated assault is not this victim. However, Your Honor, we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Jasmine Hutchinson. Stay away from 3307 Spanish Trail, apartment 11 in East Point. And we're asking to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We have not been in contact with Ms. Hutchinson. If you could please sound for her.
Jasmine Hutchinson, if you're on Zoom, this would be the time to unmute and start your video.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Merrill?
Yes, Your Honor. I have been in touch with Miss Jasmine Hutchinson. She's currently at work, Your Honor. When I spoke with Miss Hutchinson, she indicated that they were in a relationship. She indicated that she was in a relationship with Mr. Arthur Brown. I specifically informed her, of course, that I represent Mr. Arthur Brown, and she said she didn't want to press charges. She's okay with him getting out of court, and the only reason she cannot attend this court hearing today is because she's currently at work and she can't step away to be able to attend this hearing, Your Honor.
Okay.
As to Mr. Arthur Brown, he is 32 years old. He is a lifelong resident. He's a lifelong resident of Georgia, Your Honor. He does have 6 children, Your Honor, and he is also expecting his 7th child, Your Honor. The mother of his child is currently about 4 or 5 months pregnant, Your Honor. Moreover, all of his children do stay with him inside of his home in Conyers, Your Honor, and the family does go half and half with a very large family, and so his family is dependent on his household, Your Honor. As far as education, Your Honor, he has graduated high school. He's also actively enrolled in Atlanta Tech, where he's studying automotive engineering, as well as he's taking up a second study of engineering in audio, Your Honor. He does work. He works at a warehouse, Your Honor, to be able to provide for his family, both his current mother of his children. They do depend on Mr. Arthur Brown's warehouse check to be able to support their means and children, Your Honor. And so, given that Miss Jasmine Hutchinson has indicated she doesn't want this to go forward. This is about a breakup that they had. They no longer are together. And that she also indicated that she's not afraid of him, Your Honor. I do understand that the court is concerned about Mr. Brown having FTAs in 22 and 16, Your Honor, but given the nature of what the victim has stated, I am still going to ask for a signature bond in this particular case because we have a victim who indicated they don't want to go forward and are not afraid.
All right.
Nothing.
Bond is going to be set at $1,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Jasmine Hutchinson to stay away 200 yards away from the complex at Spanish Trail in East Point. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Unfortunately, the failures to appear disqualify him from a signature bond under the new law. Next court date is March 6th.
Position number 5, Mr. Gilmore.
Position 5, you say?
Yes,
Okay,
that's myself, Your Honor.
that is your case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is State versus Marvin Gilmore, accused of battery, family violence from February 21st of this year. Accusation is 25 CR 914C. Mr. Gilmore, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Mr. Merrill. And
10 total.
10 cycle, okay?
Appears to have an open forgery out of Illinois. 2021 aggravated fleeing police resisting officer. 2021 probation, 2020 theft, 2019 domestic assault, tampering with motor vehicle, resisting conviction, and more theft. That's it.
All right.
Can I just need 1 second, Your Honor? My notes went away I don't know what happened with my notes. Apologize for that.
And Howard,
oh,
sorry.
Can I just have 1 second, please?
What'd you say?
I was saying how many cycles?
This is 10th arrest.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, Your Honor.
That's all right. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready. Your Honor, where the state would show down February 21st, 2025 at 930 Gaston Street Southwest in Atlanta. Officers arrived and found a Mr. Witherspoon, and that is Trenton Witherspoon, in a distressed state outside his residence. He had bloodstained t-shirt and his torn t-shirt in his underwear. Mr. Witherspoon stated that he and his boyfriend, Marvion Gilmore, had gotten into an altercation. Specifically, Mr. Gilmore came home intoxicated after his birthday celebration. At some point in time, Mr. Gilmore used his hands to strike Mr. Witherspoon, and there was an abrasion above his nose, and I believe on his right knee as well. Your Honor, we are asking for a $3,000 signature bond in this case, a stay away from Mr. Witherspoon, no violent contact and no further contact with Mr. Witherspoon, stay away from 930 Gaston Street, Southwest in Atlanta, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Trenton Witherspoon, if you are on Zoom, this will be the time to unmute and start your video. I see it. Trenton.
He was on, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You need your video on, please.
I don't know even know how it got off. So I don't know how to turn it back on. I've been trying to figure out how to do that.
Judge, I stopped it because he was moving around a lot, so I'm going to connect him now.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Witherspoon, did you want to? No, listen very carefully.
I'm sorry.
Listen very carefully. Did you want to say anything?
Yes, I do.
All right. Then the first thing you need to do is stop walking. Otherwise, we will move you again.
Okay.
Thank you. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Are you comfortable with having contact with Mr. Gilmore?
I want no further contact with Mr. Gilmore. I want him to stay away from my residence. I have a few things at my property that he left there. I will send them wherever he wants them to go. And I've only known him for 6 months, and he has just created such havoc and trauma
All
on
right.
my life.
Mr. Witherspoon, Mr. Witherspoon,
Yes.
all I want to know is if I allow him a one-time visit with a police officer, how long would it take him to remove his items, or have you got him all boxed up?
They're all boxed up.
Okay, then I want those items. He is going to be allowed a one-time visit with a police officer. That visit is not going to exceed 10 minutes, and it's just enough time for him to get there, pick up his stuff, and then he needs to stay away. Understood?
Understood.
All right, you may mute your screen, please.
Your Honor, before we begin, I'm not sure if it was stated, but there are 4 cycles out of Missouri where in August 12th of 2021, it was a domestic assault in the 3rd degree, resisting arrest and tampering with motor vehicle. I just wanted to make sure.
Think it was mentioned, but we
Okay.
are moving on. Mr. Merrill, any objection to the stay away and no contact?
No.
Okay, good. The bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. Mr. Gilmore, you won't have to pay for your bond today, but you will have to comply with the following conditions. If you fail to comply with the conditions, you will be arrested again and your bond will be revoked and amended to either a cash bond or a surety bond. With regards to this particular bond, you are to have no further contact with Trenton Witherspoon. You are to stay 200 yards away from Mr. Witherspoon, not communicate with him in person, through mail, email, phone, any electronic device, and you cannot even discuss him on social media. You're required to stay away from 930 Gaston Street in Atlanta, Georgia. You're allowed a one-time visit to the location with a police officer. That visit cannot exceed 10 minutes. It would be just enough time for you to pick up the boxes with your items. If there are any other items that you believe belong to you, that is a matter that you can take up after the case is disposed of, or you can address that in a civil suit after the case is disposed of. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. You will report to pretrial services twice a month. That's level 2. You will be subject to random screens for illegal drugs or alcohol. And within 45 days of being released, you will enroll in what we call a family violence intervention program. This is a series of 26 classes, and you will enroll in those classes and attend all classes at your expense without missing or skipping any classes. If you fail to report to pretrial, fail to comply with the conditions, if you get arrested again, these are all grounds to revoke your signature bond. Thank you. Ms. Jenks, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes, we're ready, Judge. I did ask our court interpreter, is she still on here?
Just
Oh
one
yeah,
second.
Miss Chansey. I asked her to stay just in case our language moves into something that's more legalese, just to translate that.
All right. Ms. Grace, you can remove Mr. Witherspoon from the Zoom. Thank you. All right. This is position number 9, State versus Jonathan Jacinto Morales, accused of criminal trespass under accusation number 25 CR 000917F. Mr. Morales, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Jenks. We need to unmute courtroom 2. Anytime, Mr. Morales, you do not understand what is being discussed, you must interrupt and stop and say, I do not understand.
Señor Morales, este es un cargo de allanamiento de morada bajo la acusación número 2500917F. Señor Morales, usted se le ha leído sus derechos de guardar silencio y su abogada, la señora Jenks, está aquí presente. Necesitamos que, por favor, si no entiende lo que se está diciendo, debe interrumpir o pararnos y decirnos que no entiende.
This is his first arrest. Mr. White, what is the What is the state's recommendation on bond?
Este es el primer arresto. ¿Cuál es la recomendación de la fianza?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's recommendation of bond is a $1,000 surety bond. And we would like to do this because February the 3rd, 2025, officers actually had to come out for criminal trespass at this same place.
Gracias, su señoría. La fiscalía recomienda una multa, una fianza de $1,000 bajo garantía y hacemos esto debido a que el 3 de febrero del 2025 los oficiales en realidad tuvieron que venir por allanamiento de morada en el mismo lugar.
And of course, we would like a stay away from this location as well.
Y por supuesto, solicitamos que se mantenga distanciado de este lugar también.
That's all from the state.
Eso es todo de la fiscalía.
Right. Mr. Merrill?
No, it's my
sorry.
judge. Yeah,
Sorry.
no problem.
Señora
Mr.
Judge.
Morales, judge, is 24 years old. He has been in Atlanta for the past 5 years. He did not complete high school, which is also why I wanted to have our Spanish interpreter on the call just in case. He does work with a subcontractor from time to time in the areas of painting, moving pallets, and also welding. And he does have a brother here in the United States. We're asking you to give him a signature bond, judge. A UJR was recommended. We're asking it to be through the jail. And that's nothing further from us. We're asking you to disregard the February 3rd. There was no arrest made. This is his first arrest. And he also has no problem staying away from that location. We actually talked about that in the breakout room.
Señor Morales, su señoría tiene 24 años y él ha estado en Atlanta los últimos 5 años. Él no completó su escuela secundaria, por lo que yo también quería que la intérprete se quedara por las dudas. Él trabaja como subcontratista de vez en cuando, pintando y moviendo paletas y también soldando. Él tiene un hermano que está en los Estados Unidos. Estamos pidiendo que le dé una fianza bajo firma. Se recomendó que estamos pidiendo a través de la cárcel.
The bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level
La,
1.
la fianza va a ser en el nivel 1 a través de los servicios previos al juicio por un monto de $3,000.
He is to stay 200 yards away from the entire building complex, apartment complex.
Él
At
tiene que estar,
sorry, go ahead.
él tiene que estar distanciado un mínimo de 200 yardas del edificio entero, complejo, complejo de apartamentos, lo que sea.
The address is 558 College Street in Hapeville, Georgia.
El domicilio es de 558 College Street en Hapeville, Georgia.
And the location's name is The Bloom at Aerotropolis.
Y el nombre de este lugar es el Bloom de Aerotropolis.
He is not allowed into the complex, no sidewalk, no common areas, nowhere near that entire property.
Él no está permitido entrar en el complejo del área, ni en la banqueta, ni en las áreas comunes de esa área.
No illegal drugs and no alcohol and no weapons.
Se prohíbe el uso de drogas ilegales, de alcohol y de armas.
If he violates these conditions, if he fails to report to pretrial once a month, or if he gets arrested again,
si él no cumple con estas condiciones, si él no cumple con presentarse ante la oficina de servicios previos al juicio una vez al mes, o si lo arrestan de nuevo,
his bond will be amended to either a cash bond or a surety bond.
se cambiará su fianza a una de fianza efectivo o fianza bajo garantía.
Mr. Morales, if you get arrested again, please remember to bring $3,000 with you the next time you come back to jail.
Señor Morales, si a usted lo arrestan de nuevo, recuerde que debe traer $3,000 consigo en efectivo cuando regrese a la cárcel.
Maintain a current mailing address and we will send you your next court date in the mail.
Mantenga un domicilio donde reciba la correspondencia correctamente y le enviaremos a usted la nueva cita ante el tribunal por correo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
So
right.
is he gonna need an interpreter for supervision or what?
He has somewhat passable English. He'll get by.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too, Ms. Chansey. Thank
Thank
you so much. All right. Let's see now. Courtroom 1, who do we have, please?
Number 6, Hill.
Okay. This is State versus Isaiah Hill, accused of battery, family violence from June 8th of last year. His accusation number is going to be 25 CR 915Y. Mr. Hill, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. Merrill. Mr. Howard,
Third, all you got is a bunch of theft. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, this is third cycle? Okay,
Correct.
thank you. Ms. Russell?
Yes, Your Honor, where the state was shown June 8th, 2024, the victim, Miss Teresa Johnson, stated that her son, Miss Isaiah, at some point grabbed her by the shirt, forcibly pushed her down to the floor, and then punched her several times with both hands, closed fist to the face. Ms. Johnson had a laceration to her nose and upper lip and had a black and blue left eye. Your Honor, we have not heard from Miss Teresa Johnson. We tried contacting her, but however, we haven't heard from her. So we would ask that you sound for her. And we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond. I mean, it is his mother, so we're asking for no further violent contact, no alcohol, drugs, weapons, and family violence intervention program.
And I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Merrill.
Is Ms. Johnson on the call?
I
Ms.
don't
Johnson?
see anyone by Teresa Johnson on Zoom. No.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I have spoken with Miss Teresa Johnson. She is not on the Zoom. She indicated that she did indicate that she was not afraid of him. She doesn't want the case to go forward, and this is the first time they had ever had an incident. Your Honor, she also indicated that she didn't want to log on because she didn't want to have the image of seeing her son in handcuffs. I did inform her that it was very possible that he could also have been in a jumpsuit. And so she just said, as a mother, she just absolutely could not have that image in her mind. And so she declined from joining us today, but she wanted me to express her wishes of not moving forward. And this was the first time they had an incident. As it pertains to Mr. Isaiah Hill, he is 24 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Georgia, so he does have significant ties to our jurisdiction, Your Honor. Ms. Johnson is okay with him having visits. I did indicate that the judge is more likely to include a non further violence contact. No further violence contact. Sorry. Furthermore, Your Honor, he doesn't have any children, but he is a high school graduate, Your Honor. He is kind of in between jobs at this time, but virtually he is unemployed, Your Honor. The client does indicate that this altercation kind of stemmed from a situation where he is positioning himself to defend himself. Your Honor, he did say that the uncle broke up the fight between him and his mom. This is the first time that he has ever had a situation with his mom. And so because of this, and he doesn't have any FTAs, Your Honor, I would be asking that you provide him with a signature bond. He is 24 years old, and his mother also wants him to be able to get out. When I asked about her ability to be able to afford to be able to pay bond on his behalf, she said her resources are limited, and she's hoping he gets a signature bond and can be released this weekend. And so I would just ask that you set a UJR. We're okay with any conditions as long as it includes a no further violent contact since this is his mother. Nothing further.
I have to ask, the warrant says that apparently he was picked up from Cobb County Jail, and I've got a Douglas County hold. So anyone have any issues? Any information about a hold?
I don't have information about the hold. My understanding is that he was in Cobb County and they saw that the warrant was here in Fulton and was bringing him to Fulton. That is my understanding as far as Cobb County goes.
So he was already arrested in Cobb County for something else and they found a warrant.
No, Your Honor. They stopped him and then picked him up and brought him over to
Okay.
Fulton County. That's my understanding of it.
And did you,
Mr.
did you
Howard,
say-
know anything about a hold?
Hold on. The hold I see is for here. What's the date of this warrant? 6/28/2024?
Yeah.
Yeah, that his GCIC warrant has that date on it. So
Oh.
what Morel's saying is more than likely true.
Okay.
Because his last arrest was in 2021.
All right. Mr. Russell, anything else to add?
No, Your Honor. I was just going to say I didn't see any other hold. And I think the Douglas County was from his prior arrest.
Okay. Mr. Hill, on the battery family violence, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond for pretrial services, level 1. You may have no further violent contact with Teresa Johnson, which means that you can have communication with her as long as she wants contact with you. And if she tells you to go away, you'll be required by law to turn around and walk away quietly. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And within 45 days of being released, you are to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program, attend and complete all 26 classes at your expense. No, you'll report to pretrial once a month. And if you get arrested again for anything else, this signature bond will be revoked. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question, Your Honor? What about the living situation? Is he allowed to stay at that residence with her?
If mom will let him, if not, he needs to leave quietly and peacefully.
And Judge, I just want to make sure I have your notes down. You said complete F5 within 45 days, or did you?
No, enroll.
Enroll. Got it. I was about to say, okay. I was about to say.
It's 20, he needs to enroll and complete all 26 classes. Courtroom 1, please unmute. Mr. Hill, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. Do you have a question about the bond?
No, not about the bond. The question I have is, you said I got 45 days for,
To enroll in a domestic violence intervention program. If you have any questions about it, you can contact the public defender's office, or you can ask your probation officer about qualified programs. This is a condition of your bond in a family violence case. This is not a condition of being acquitted from the charges.
so just show proof of
I'll go over with you, Mr. Hill. If my case is not being called next, I'll give you a phone call real quick to explain it real quick.
Next case, please.
ACD, go ahead.
All right. Is it Francois there today?
Yes, good afternoon, Judge Law. This is going to be position number 11, Ms. Smith.
All right.
That's my case, Judge.
Just give me a moment. All right, this is Terry Smith at ACDC, case number 25 CR 0000916H. Ms. Smith, my name is Judge Law. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you, and presently you're represented by Ms. Rachel Jenks.
That's correct, Judge.
All right.
For a total 2010 obstruction trespass dismissed. Before that was a 1999 act of assault dismissed.
All right. Ms. Smith is accused of battery from February 20th of this year. Ms. Russell, oh, sorry, Mr. White, what's the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation in this case is going to be a $3,000 surety bond. Stay away from 2435 Bellevue Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. No alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further contact with Sonoya Davis. And if I'm not mistaken, Sonoya Davis actually may be on this Zoom, and she I think she'll want to speak. But just for the facts, officers were dispatched out to the address. Upon arrival, they spoke with Terry Smith, who stated that she came to the location to gather a few things, few belongings. She left the property a few days before because the power was out. She was not let into the property by Miss Davis because Miss Davis said she had a TPO against her and she shouldn't be there. And that led to a verbal and a physical altercation. And Miss Davis, the statement or the warrant states that Miss Davis grabbed her by the hair and started punching her in the face and left visible bruisings on her face and on her elbow, and she was arrested. And I also seen another aggravated assault, not just the 1999. I think I seen a 1990 aggravated assault and a simple battery, and that was, I think, not dismissed, but just debt docketed. That's all from the state.
All right. Sonoya Davis, if you'd like to contribute to the proceeding, you need to unmute and start your video. All right, Ms. Jinks?
Yes, Judge. I mean, Miss Smith has no significant criminal history. Those cases have either been dismissed or dead docketed in their very old arrest, Judge. She is 51 years old. She had been living with Miss Davis for sometimes from November 2024 until recently.
I'm sorry, but I'm here. I didn't know how to unmute the phone, Judge, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I would like to speak.
All right, Ms. Davis, please be quiet right now and remove your hat. You're in a courtroom.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, continue, Ms. Jinks.
Okay. So my understanding is that Miss Smith had been living with Miss Davis and in fact was nannying to some extent Miss Davis's grandchildren. So in the household was Miss Davis, her daughter, and 3 grandchildren, one of which has Down syndrome, who my client was actually helping to nanny. She has been in Georgia all of her life, Judge. She did not go to college, but she went to Job Corps, finished her GED, and got a degree in clerical and culinary arts. She had actually, what the state did say correctly is that my client, Miss Smith, did actually move out of that household about a week earlier because there were some issues with the utilities being maintained. And my client actually moved out into the home of her father and his wife, and is still going to be continuing to live there. So there's no problem with her staying away from Miss Davis's house, Judge. The reason she had gone, I have not seen any kind of TPO. I know the state mentioned it. There's nothing in the discovery that I've received so far, and I didn't see any kind of TPO related to this case. I don't know if that's true or untrue. However, Miss Smith was merely coming back to get her granddaughter's clothes. So her granddaughter was also living with her essentially. And I know this is, I'm going to ask you for a little bit of patience. There's kind of a complicated backstory. My client takes care of her 8-year-old granddaughter because her father was killed several years ago in Waycross by the Waycross Sheriff's Department. And so she has shared custody with the mother of the child. So she's also responsible for her 8-year-old grandchild. So she was trying to get her.
I'm sorry, who's the mother?
The mother is her deceased son's, I guess ex-wife or partner.
And where's the mother?
What's that?
Is the mother got the child?
The child, right? I don't know if, I think the child is not, I don't, who's, the child's with a friend of yours or with the mom right now, Miss Smith?
She was not very friend. Her mother worked for a warehouse. She worked like 4 days on, 3 days off.
Yeah, so the mother of the child, Judge, works like around the clock shifts.
All right.
But the child is safe right now. But I'm just laying out that she was trying to get the clothing for her granddaughter when she had come back to Miss Davis's house. Now, my client denies being the initial aggressor. You can see my client's right eye, Judge, which is totally busted up, which she has said that Miss Davis did to her initially. So she denies the allegation of being an initial aggressor in this case, Judge. So I want to be clear about that as well. But as I said, she has no problem Ms. Smith has no problem staying away from that location. She would like to go back with law enforcement one time, and if 10 minutes is your time limit, that's fine. But she wants to get her granddaughter's clothing because her granddaughter, who is a straight A student, despite some very serious trauma that she's endured in her short lifetime, wants to continue going to school and doesn't have clothing to do so, which was the motivation for Ms. Smith to go back to Ms. Davis's house.
Thank you, Ms. Jenks. Ms. Davis, if you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What is the case number for the TPO case?
I'm waiting. I guess they do the TPO different now. They said they would email it to me, so I did that on Wednesday. So,
So you don't have a case number right now?
yeah, they said I would get an email. So that's all I know for now.
Where did you apply for the TPO?
Fulton County.
When did you do that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So TPO has not been served on Miss Terry Smith yet.
Right. And the reason why I filed the TPO, I can't hear.
Be quiet.
Okay.
The TPO, it has no effect until it is legally served on Terry Smith. Do you understand?
I know. Yeah.
No, I don't think you do. So until it is legally served on Terry Smith, which it has not happened, that TPO has no effect. Understood?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Ms. Terry Smith, your bond is going to be set at $2,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. Is your address still at the Hollywood location?
No, man. I will be going back to Henry County with my dad.
Do you have a different address then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you. Now, apparently there's been a protective order case filed against you, so I don't know what's that situation. That's something that Miss Davis is going to have to deal with in Superior Court, and you need to be legally served. But like I said, it has no effect until you are legally served. You want to have no further contact with Sonoya Davis. You have to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You are to stay away from 2435 Bellevue Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to allow you a one-time visit to that location with a police officer. That visit cannot be more than 1 hour long. And in that time, you're only allowed to remove the items that belong to you and to your granddaughter. If there's any item in dispute, you have to leave it there. Understood? Now, if you have already been served with the protective order, I don't know if it's in existence. I don't know if it's been served, but if you have been served, then you cannot return to the location even with a one-time visit. Okay? You need to go back to Superior Court and deal with that. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And your next court date will be mailed to your father's address. So within 7 days of being released from Fulton County Jail, you have to come down to the courthouse and update us in writing of your new mailing address.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I ask you a question?
No. You're going to call your attorney and ask Ms. Jenks your question.
Yes, ma'am. You said I can go back for 10 minutes, you said?
She don't have anything here. She came and got her stuff on Sunday. She have nothing here.
Miss Davis, I've already given her instructions. You're free to go.
Okay, well, you'll just come and get nothing because you're not getting anything. You don't have anything here.
Miss Grace, please remove Sonoya Davis. All right. All right. Thank you. Ms. Jenks, you might want to answer Ms. Smith's questions, keeping in mind that she may have a protective order ex parte and she'll need to comply with that.
I'm happy to do that. Actually, Francois, can you call me? Because I think the next case is probably
Mr. Merrill?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and call you now.
Thanks. Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Who do we have?
Number 7, Johnson. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, position 7, Your Honor.
All
Who
right.
was it? I didn't hear.
Edward Johnson.
Thank you.
This is State versus Edward Johnson, accused of theft by shoplifting from January 23rd of this year. His accusation number is 25 CR 918Y. Mr. Johnson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Merrill. And with
20 total.
okay.
He got a lot going on. He got history out of New Mexico, Utah, North Carolina, and Georgia. On probation for shoplifting, simple battery out of state court. That was as of January. The case number is 24 CR 008-246Y. Got another open shoplifting, New Mexico, possession of a controlled substance and burglary, theft by receiving, battery, and another shoplifting.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Russell, what's the
Yes, Your
bond
Honor.
recommendation?
It's a $5,000 surety bond. I also have a 2018 FTA out of Utah, a 22 FTA out of McKinley, New Mexico, a 2024 FTA out of McKinley, New Mexico as well. So no $5,000 surety bond, no return to Home Depot at 650 Ponce de Leon, no alcohol, drugs, and shoplifting course, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Merrill?
Yes, Your Honor. Just 1 second. I'm finishing up my notes. Okay. Mr. Edward Johnson, Your Honor, he is 28 years old, Your Honor. He doesn't have any children. He has completed the 11th grade. Your Honor, he is currently not working, Your Honor. I do have emergency contact with him. He believed that his phone number is going to be disconnected soon because he's in custody, Your Honor. I do understand that the court is concerned with the amount of FTAs that he has. I believe we said 24, 22, and 18, as well as there is an open case of shoplifting. Your Honor, I would ask that a bond is set at 1,000 good bond, Your Honor, and see maybe I can get him into what we call the bail project to maybe to help able to pay for bond, Your Honor, because otherwise Mr. Johnson will be sitting inside of the Fulton County Rice Street, Your Honor, because of his indigent status and his familiar ties indicates that they do not have the money to be able to pay any kind of bond for him. Your Honor, so I just ask that the bond is set at a 1,000 bond or even 500, Your Honor, because any bond that you set, I would need some kind of support to be able to get him out.
All right. We just had him in December of 2024 and he missed us and he's back again this month. So his bond is going to, well, that's not the only concern. The other concern, he's a multi-state offender. And just based on his track record and his recent disposition in 24 CR 8246Y, he shows a dangerously high likelihood to reoffend. Bond is set at 2,500. It is a surety bond. He is to stay away from all Home Depot stores, not just the one on Ponce de Leon, but every Home Depot store that's ever constructed on this planet. And next court date is March 6th. Thank you.
Number 10 is next. We just wait on Ms. James.
This is Montori Rucker. Is that
I'm
right?
ready.
Okay. This is Mr. Rucker, case number 25 CR 922E, accused of battery, family violence from January 5th of 2025. Mr. Rucker, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Jenks. Understand this is his third arrest cycle. Mr.
Yeah,
Howard?
you're on probation. It appears to be anyway. Possession of a pistol by person under 18, certain acts. That's 24 CR 001-907E. He had a 2024 possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. That was dismissed.
Yeah, that case that Tucson just talked about, that's actually, he took a plea. I think he's got a release date in April on that, Judge. I don't think he's on probation right now.
All right. Anything else to add, Ms. Russell? Oh, sorry, Mr. White? I'm sorry, please unmute.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I also see a possession of a sawed-off shotgun, possession of a rifle, machine gun, dangerous weapon, or silencer as well. Do you guys not see that?
I see it.
That was the dismissed case, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Mr. Rucker, sorry, trying to find my place. Yeah, so the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, a stay away from 1315 Northwest Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no further contact with Jalecia Slaughter. When officers were dispatched out to the address, they spoke with Miss Slaughter, who stated that she was preparing for work, and her child's father, who had felt that she had an attitude all night, he grabbed her by the neck and slammed her to the ground. And she sort of got away from him and was trying to get to the living room. He grabbed her by the hair and knocked her to the ground again. And she had her child in her hand this time. And the child didn't fall, but she did have her child in her hand at that time. So it was pretty serious. And they had been dating for 2 years. They're no longer together. The baby is a 5-month-old, and they haven't had contact since. That's all from the state.
And was this warrant just brought up once he had to be booked into jail from his disposition? This is Montori Rucker, right?
Yeah, this is the date of offense was January the 5th, and I think he was arrested February 21st this year.
He took a plea before Judge, was it Morrison? Yeah, who asked him to serve 90 days, and he got booked in jail, and this is when the warrant popped up. Would that be accurate, Ms. Jenks?
I think that's what happened, Judge.
Okay, just want to be sure. And I just want to see. All right, there's no further that's not no contact there. All right, Ms. Jenks?
Yeah, Judge, Mr. Rucker is 18 years old. He has lived in Atlanta his entire life. He's completed 12th grade at Washington High School, but never graduated. When I inquired as to why he didn't graduate, he said that his family was really unstable at the time. His brother had gotten shot in the head and the family had to move. So they were relocating and he was never able to get routed back on track for high school, Judge. He does work with his father. He does construction. And before he was arrested, he was hoping to get some extra work at a warehouse. He does help to support the 5-month-old, as the state said. They do share a child together. And he's currently living with his mom. We're asking you to consider a signature bond in this case, although he will have to complete the sentence related to the case from Judge Morrison's division. If you're not inclined to give a signature bond with just a higher level through pretrial, Judge, we're asking for $1,000 surety bonds, but it's not likely that he'll be able to make any kind of bond. We are also asking, I understand the no further contact order, but we are asking for third-party transfer. As the state said, they've not had any contact since this incident that happened a month and a half ago. And so Mr. Rucker said that his mom and sister have been facilitating visits since then.
All right. Bond is set at $2,500. It is a surety bond. No contact with Jalecia Slaughter. And if he wishes to have contact with the child that he shares with Ms. Slaughter, he needs to file a legitimation action. Until then, no contact with her and the child. When he files the legitimation action, then he can get a court order to establish a parenting plan, visitation, and custody. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And we will see him on March 6th. Thank you.
Judge, it sounds, before you sign off, it sounds like there's no question about him being the biological father, especially since the state just stated that in their narrative, Judge.
I don't have a problem with that either, but if he wants to see the child and he wants to make sure that there is a parenting plan in place, the legitimation action is the plan to go. I'm not going to leave it up in the air among two people who've had an alleged altercation.
Well, I mean, I think you're constructively limiting his parental rights by doing that, Judge. If there's consent.
I am not. Under Georgia law, if he doesn't legitimate the child, he has absolutely no rights to visitation and no rights to custody I'm giving him an avenue on how to establish his rights.
All right, Judge.
Thank you.
Number 12. Mr. Talley.
Number 12. Is this Bryant Talley? Jeff, courtroom 1? Ms.
Yes, it is.
Okay, just want to be sure. Thank you. Bryant Talley is accused of simple assault, family violence, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, and driving while license suspended or revoked from February 21st of this year. Case number 25 CR 919J. Mr. Talley, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Jenks.
So you got 12 total. Last arrest was 3 days ago. DUI, suspended license. He went to the Atlanta City Detention Center for that. 2019 probation. Possession of marijuana conviction. And he got some old FTAs in his history.
Wait, so I'm sorry. So he was arrested 3 days ago and then
I think he bonded out because I think these warrants are from yesterday, correct?
right.
Yeah, so he bonded out he was released from ACDC for the DUI suspended license. But that was on the 19th. So according to the GCIC.
Okay. Mr. White?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers arrived out to 1412 Spyglass Hill Drive, Johns Creek, Georgia, 30009. And upon arrival, they spoke with Victoria Bells, who stated that the defendant kicked her car window, which placed her in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury. She stated that they live together, that they share a child as well, and the officers smelled the odor of burnt marijuana coming from the open door of the defendant's truck. And he admitted to recently smoking marijuana. And when they did a PC check, they found half a cigarette and a bag of unburned marijuana in his truck. And the defendant admitted to the officers that he was driving from a venue in Atlanta somewhere over to her house. The state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond for the simple assault, a $1,000 surety bond, and for the possession of marijuana, a $2,000 surety bond. The reason why we are, or not even the reason why, sorry, I'm looking at.
Callan?
Yes, has 50 plus citations, driving citations. I mean, he will not stop with the citations. So I just want to make sure that that is on the record. That's all from the state.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Jenks?
Yeah, I mean, Judge, I'm going to ask you to disregard the citations. We don't have his actual driving history, and we hear from the state that they're very focused on prior offenses where they've actually been dismissed or dead docketed. They're not actual convictions. So I'm going to ask you to disregard that. But with that being said, Judge, Mr. Talley is 46 years old. He was living with Miss Bells. They do share a child who's 11 months old. That's his son, but there's also 2 other children, 14 and 6, from his wife's previous marriage. He's been working as a trainer for basketball and also fitness with adults and children as well. And his wife owns a company called Our Community Healthcare System. So my understanding is he was working within her organization as well. Judge, we're asking you to consider $1,000 bonds on the simple assault and signature bonds on the marijuana and driving with suspended license charges, and also for a third party transfer in terms of visitation. And these 2 individuals are married, Judge.
Oh, okay. On the driving while license suspended or revoked, that's going to be a $2,000 cash bond only. On the misdemeanor possession of marijuana, that's a $500 cash bond only. And on the simple assault family violence, that's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Mr. Talley will report once he posts the cash bond portion. He will then report to pretrial services once a week. He will have no further contact with Victoria bells. I will allow for a third-party transfer of the child that he shares with his wife. He is not to consume any illegal drugs, including marijuana, and not to consume any alcoholic beverages. He will not operate any motor vehicle until further order of the court. He's not allowed to drive any car, irrespective of what DDS issues. He'll need a court order to amend this bond in order to operate a motor vehicle. And his next court date is going to be March 6th. Mr. Talley, you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. So presently, he has a $7,500 split bond. Yes, sir.
I just have a question. You say don't communicate with her. So if I don't communicate with her as far as me working and everything, how do I get paid to even pay this bond or get my bond paid?
Well, you need to find someone else. She's the alleged victim in the case. That seems to be an unfortunate circumstance. Your next court date is March 6th.
Thank you, Judge.
This per judge.
Yeah, please comply with the no driving. Otherwise, I'll have to resort to putting you on an ankle monitor. Thank you.
Next petition is number 13. This is Mr. Ward.
13, okay. This is State versus Jonathan Ward, accused of battery family violence from March 11th, 2024, case number 25CR 920D. Mr. Ward, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Jenks, and this is his
Fifth arrest. No violence. 2022 was the last for FTA. 2022 DUI.
What was the issue with the DUI? Is that still an open case?
It just says bind over from Atlanta Municipal Court.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Mr. White?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers were dispatched out to 408 Harris Maynard Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30315. And upon arrival, they spoke with Brianna Gibson, who stated that her child's father, Mr. Ward, was in an argument with her at her mother's house. And at the time, she was trying to take an object of hers from Mr. Ward's possession. And in response, he punched her in the face and busted her lip, and she called 911. We've spoken with the victim, our victim advocate, and she stated that this is the first time that such an incident has occurred. But at the time, she was very, very afraid of the defendant. They share a 2-year-old daughter, and the victim would like no further violent contact, and they are communicating through the defendant's mother right now. The state, however, we're going to ask for a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no further contact with Brianna Gibson. And we'd like them to continue the third party for the child. And that's all from the state.
Ms. Jenks?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Ward has been, he's been living in Atlanta his entire life. He's 29 years old. He's currently living with his mother. He did graduate from Pebblebrook High School, Judge, in Mableton, Georgia, and also attended some college at Fort Valley State and also Atlanta Metropolitan College, getting an AA degree in mass communications, as well as, and he's actually in the process of completing a certification as a computer analyst from Coursera Online. They do share, he and, Miss Gibson.
Yeah.
Miss Gibson, they do share a 2-year-old child, and he does provide financial support for that child, Judge. We are asking you to allow him to have a signature bond so he can continue to work, and also go along with what Miss Gibson is asking for, which is no further violent contact, Judge. My understanding from pretrial is that he has no prior violent criminal history, so we're asking you to follow our recommendations.
Can I confirm, or is this an incorrect? I have a 2022 FTA in the last 4 years.
Let me check.
Yeah, that was the last arrest. Hold on, let me look up the disposition.
All right.
You can say
Courtroom
it
one,
differently.
please unmute. Mr. Ward, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you.
It was a 2022 FTA out of Cobb, said not prosecuted, no further action.
Actually, Cobb dismissed that case and they dropped all the charges.
Fine,
And
that's
another
exactly
thing,
what the pretrial officer said.
oh, I apologize. And another thing, they had the wrong address for the incident. It did not happen at 408 Harris Manor. It actually happened at my address at 1247 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard.
On the Battery family violence, the bond's going to be set at $5,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services level 2. I'm going to, these are the conditions, Mr. Ward. Once you sign up for your bond, you have to report to pretrial services twice a month. You have to have no further contact with Brianna Gibson. You have to stay 200 yards away from, put your hand down. You have to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. I'll allow you a third-party transfer of the child or children that you share with her. While you are reporting to pretrial, you will enroll within 45 days in a domestic violence intervention program. You will enroll in those classes and then start the 26 classes that you will need to complete without missing or skipping any of them. You're not allowed to consume any illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, and not own or possess any firearms, and you will be subject to random screens. Thank you.
Can I say one more
Thank
thing,
you,
please?
Judge. No, there's nothing more to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 14, Williams.
Ms. Bridgewater, with regards to the last case we did, Bryant Talley, that's going to be random screens for alcohol and illegal drugs as well. Okay, thank you. Moving
Yes,
on.
ma'am. I have it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was this case number, please?
It's Williams, 14.
Got it, okay. Omarion Marquavius Williams is accused of theft by taking from September 8th of 2023, case number 25 CR 921E. Mr. Williams, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is Ms. Jenks.
Hold on, Blunt. What was the bond for the robbery charge?
5,000 K.
Five cash?
K.
Okay, 5,000. Okay. All right, just third arrest. He went to felony earlier for the robbery. That's why I asked.
Okay.
2022 VGCSA. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a felony and drug-related objects. That's open out of Clayton County. Got an open case out of Cherokee County for robbery and simple battery, and wanted out of Clayton County now for shoplifting.
Mr. White?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officers were dispatched to Church's Chicken. The address is 538 Lee Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30311. Upon arrival, they spoke with the store manager, DeAndrea Leaks, and she stated that while she was off work one day, she was checking the store with her phone, the video that is actually at the store, and she witnessed the defendant stealing money from the cash register, putting it into his pockets. She ended up calling Mr. Williams, telling him to return the money to the cash register. And I guess someone unplugged the camera at the time. So she went to the store. And when she went to the store, she learned that Mr. Williams had left. I think we see by the cases that he has against him now, this is elevated from thefts like this now to robbery and so on. So the state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond. Stay away from Church's Chicken incident location. That's all from the state.
What was that location? I'm sorry.
That is 538 Lee Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310.
Okay. Miss Jenks, this is going to be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail
Thank you.
to have to stay away from the Church's Chicken at 538 Lee Street in Atlanta, Georgia. And do you want me to reset it to March 6th? He's got that $5,000 surety bond in 25 PI 001419.
Yes, Judge, just in case so it doesn't slip through.
Okay. Case is reset to March 6th.
Thank you.
What was the bond amount for the
$1,000 signature bond through the jail, but he still has that felony hold.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Go back to position number 8 if you're already.
Which position is next? I'm sorry.
Number 8, Milton.
Okay. Rashid, did you talk to him? Oh. So Judge, I didn't have a chance to speak with Mr. Milton. I think I made a mistake earlier. I think this is the gentleman that maybe was being held in a different area. Is that right?
I have no idea.
No,
Taryn Milton?
no, he was supposed to be on yesterday, and then he got continued to today because I think some behavior of Mr. Milton, from my understanding. But earlier today, Mr. Milton explained that he would like to represent himself. But before we spoke to him, we wanted you to be on the Zoom.
Okay, thank you for the update.
You're welcome.
So you don't need the history again, I'm assuming.
No, I don't.
I don't think we haven't done the history.
We didn't do it? I thought we did it.
We started.
Okay.
So let's just start fresh. Okay. All right.
The history.
Terrence Milton, case 25 CR 902F, accused of criminal trespass from February 20th, 2025.
Hey,
No, put your hand down.
is she gonna represent me, Rachel Jenkins?
Put your hand down or I'll see you on Monday. Put your hand down. Good. Listen very carefully. No questions.
Judge, he wants to interview with Miss Jenkins. That's not what he was trying to say.
All right. So Mr. Milton is accused of criminal trespass from February 20th, 2025. This case was reset from yesterday's expedited calendar, to which the court had indicated this is not a Riverside issue. Mr. Milton, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, I will appoint an attorney to represent you. You don't get to pick the attorney, I get to pick the attorney. All right? Now, we'll unmute courtroom 1. Mr. Milton, would you like to speak to a public defense attorney?
What's Riverside? Could you define that? What's the Riverside case?
If you are held without a warrant for more than 48 hours or with a warrant for more than 72 hours without seeing a judicial officer, then the court would issue a signature bond through the jail.
Okay, I've been here more than 48 hours.
Yes, you have, but we have a warrant and it's not been 72 hours. So this is not a Riverside issue.
Okay, so where's the warrant at for a citation?
Furthermore, the court had reset the case from yesterday due to alleged behavior issues. So
what's alleged? You don't have any
I had declared this is not a Riverside issue. So
I have been here more than 48 hours without a warrant. There's no warrant. This is a criminal trespass and it's a citation, a city citation.
All right. Now, let me get to my next question while I'm pull up your warrant. Would you like to speak to a public defense attorney or would you like to?
I can handle it from here.
I'm sorry?
Your Honor, before we proceed, Mr. Milton, I'm Rashid Morel. I'm with the PD's office. I would just advise that maybe just have a brief conversation. We can help you answer some of the questions, and then you can make your decision from there.
I only ask one question.
Now, be careful of what you say could be used against you, but go ahead. Do you want me to call over there so we can talk on the phone? Oh, Ms. Russell?
can I just give you my recommendation? I think that may help.
Okay.
It's $1,000 good bond and stay away is my recommendation.
All right.
And,
Now,
and
I'm sorry.
as
Ms. Russell, just keep in mind, this warrant was issued against Mr. Terrence Monroe Milton. It was signed by Judge Charles Simmons on February 20th at 6:57 p.m. So there's an active warrant against him. All right. Courtroom 1, I'm going to put you into a breakout with Mr. Merrill, or we can address any other cases while Mr. Merrill calls down to courtroom 1. What would you like to do?
If I could, it doesn't matter. Jinx, you want me to talk to him, or you want to talk to him? I'll talk to him. Okay.
All right.
Jinx, I sent notes for Gibson. If you want me, that's in the email that I sent. It's on my note page.
Okay, great.
And I waived his presence.
All right. So Mr. Merrill, you're going to call into courtroom 1 then?
Sure thing. I'm calling right now, Your Honor.
All right, and please mute your screen, Mr. Merrill. All right, while we are waiting to also address, I'm assuming position 4 is going to be a breakout or a non-broadcaster, or no? We're good?
Yeah, he just waived it.
He's waived his presence.
All right. I saw a couple of people named Gibson who were on Zoom, but I guess they've left. So we can address position 4. Is that your case, Ms. Jenks?
Position number 4 is a reset.
Let me find out who is representing.
So actually, Mr. Merrill spoke with him, but he had emailed me his notes, and I was just trying to scroll through those real quick, Judge.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Give me a moment. And then let me know if it's a waiver or whether it's going to be a reset to Monday.
Okay, I believe it's a waiver, but give me one moment.
Okay.
Well, position number 4 is a reset mental behavior. If you all need to know about position number 4, Mr. Gibson.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know whether after speaking to counsel, he had waived his appearance, then we can address it without having to reset it. So just give us a moment, okay? Thank you. And Miss Grace, did the Gibson folks leave the Zoom? I saw 2 people with Gibson on the screen. Or are they in the waiting room?
Your Honor, I think that may have been for another matter.
Oh, okay.
Because this matters, if you don't mind, Ms. Jinx, let me just say this matter is a criminal trespass at the jail. There was no person victim.
Okay.
The jail is the victim.
No, I understand the context of the charge. I was just wondering, the 2 people who were on Zoom, were they here in support of Mr. Gibson or in a different case?
I think that was the family member of the young lady, Miss Davis, I'm thinking. That was her mother, because it was the mother witnessed the incident. And I think she signed off, but she's not on anymore, Judge.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just going to wait on Ms. Jenks to let us know whether it's going to be a waiver for Gibson or a reset.
Judge, I'm sorry, if you can just give me one more moment. I believe it's a waiver, but I can't see it in the notes.
All right. You would need to submit a written waiver to Ms. Bridgewater. Okay, thank you.
Judge, we're ready on Mr. Gibson when you are.
All right, and would you have a written waiver to sign, Ms. Redford?
Actually, Judge, it is going to be a reset. I apologize. Thank you for your patience. I just need to make sure.
Deshae Gibson, case number 25 CR 913J, position 4 on our calendar, is going to be reset to Monday, and that's going to be February 24th at 2 p.m. This will not be a Riverside issue, and this is a behavior reset. Okay, while we're waiting for Mr. Merrill and Mr. Milton, I can just go down the calendar. For position number 1 on Brown, that's going to be $1,000 surety bond reset to March 6th. Position 2, Galagos, is going to be a $1,500 surety bond reset to March 6th. 3, Gay, is $1,000 surety reset March 6th. 4 is a reset to February 24th. 5, Gilmore, is a $3,000 signature bond through level 2 with an FBIP and random screens. Position 6, Hill, is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 7, Johnson, is going to be a 2,500 surety reset March 6th. 8 is under advisement with Mr. Merrill. 9, Narciso Morales, is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 with a stay away. Position 10, Rucker, is a $2,500 surety bond. And I don't know if this is an open case or a probation case, but we can reset Rucker along with 24 CR 003942J, if that's still an open case. Okay. Position 11, Terry Smith, is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial level, was it level 1?
1, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Position 12, Bryant Talley, and that's going to be a split bond of 7,500, 2,500 cash and 5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No driving and stay away and random screens and an FWIT. Okay. Position 13, Ward, is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. I believe that's a level 1.
Two.
Okay. Is that 1? Okay, 2. But it's probably a 2 because he's got an FBIT requirement and random screens. Position 14, Williams, is a $1,000 surety bond. Reset date to March 6th.
I have a SOB through the jail, but we're still setting him for
Oh,
March.
no, you're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. It's a signature bond through the jail. Reset to March 6th. $1,000 surety was what was the recommendation. Okay. And he's got a surety bond in his felony
Other case, yes.
Got it. Okay. Let's go back to courtroom 1. Courtroom 1, I'm ready to address Mr. Milton. Please ask Mr. Merrill to conclude his conversation. Courtroom 1. All right, let's go ahead and address Terrence Milton. Mr. Merrill, please start your video and unmute. Thank you. All right, Mr. Milton, you'll need to return to the seat in front of the screen. I'm sorry, Mr. Merrill? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. I was just concluding our phone call right now. He's coming right back over.
Great. Okay. So as we've indicated, Mr. Milton is...
Mr. Milton, come over to the chair. We're ready for you. He's right off on the side where we speak.
Understood. Thank you.
There he is.
All right. So we have confirmed that there is an active warrant. This is not a Riverside issue. And Mr. Milton, Mr. Merrill, will you be representing him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Milton is represented by the Public Defense Office through Mr. Merrill at the present time. Mr. Howard, could we indicate Mr. Milton's GCIC?
20 total on probation, trespass, obstruction, terrorist threats. It's 24 CR 003 942J. 2024 FTA probation, 2022 FTA, 2020 FTA.
All right.
Sorry, Your Honor, I'm just making sure
Both
I'm getting
MTAs were
everything right.
reinstated. My
Hold
cash
on.
bond reinstated on
Wait a
both.
minute, Terrence. I got you. I got this part.
Your Honor, this case stems from a Mr. Milton being in having a criminal trespass. He had received a criminal trespass warning on December 21st, 2024 to stay away from the Wesley on the Beltline Apartments at 370 Northside Drive, Atlanta, apartment 2130. And on the day in question, he was inside of that apartment again, or he was inside another apartment, excuse me. And so that's where it stems from, to stay away from those apartments. Your Honor, we're asking for a $1,000 good bond and stay away from the apartments.
Mr. Merrill?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Milton, he's 37 years old, Your Honor. He does have ties to our jurisdiction. He is currently in the Georgia Housing Voucher Program, which is implemented through DBHD, the Behavior Health, Your Honor. So our concern is that if he remains in custody, he will lose his services that he is receiving. So when it comes to this incident, Your Honor, it's my understanding from what the warrant has indicated. Sorry, my screen just clicked out. The warrant indicated that he was evicted on December 21st of 2024. But it's also my understanding that I do believe that he was in custody on December 21st of 2024, Your Honor. To that extent, Your Honor, I would ask that you set the bond no higher than the $1,000 good. I'm actually asking for a UJR or 500 on it, Your Honor, but I understand that he has the FTAs, and so I would ask for a $500 good bond so that Mr. Milton, it will be able to effectuate his release, especially since he's receiving mental health services through DBHDD.
Bond is set at $1,000 surety bond. He is to stay 200 yards away from the entire complex known as the Wesley at 370 Northside Drive. He's to stay away from all the apartment units, the common areas, parking lot, sidewalks, leasing office, the entire complex. His next court date will be March 6th. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you.
Your Honor, them FTAs that I'm being accused of, all of my FTAs were assured, falsely accused of, and they were reinstated. All my cash bonds were reinstated. So you're talking about a surety
Mr.
bond.
Milton.
A surety bond.
Mr. Milton. I'm gonna give you a quick phone call before I take you back, but this is not helping. I promise you.
Yeah, she give me a
Oh,
fucking
Mr. Milton.
bond, I can't fucking pay. That ain't fucking
Mr.
help.
Milton, I'm going to call you to give you some resources. Just give me a second. I'm
Ain't
literally
no
about to call
fucking
you.
resource with no damn $1,000 down on
Courtroom
fucking.
1, can you mute? And I will,
Merrill,
Mr.
stop.
Milton.
Mr. Merrill, stop. $1,000 cash bond until he learns here. He's got issues. $1,000 cash bond. Thank you. Okay.
Judge, would you reconsider that
No,
decision?
so we'll reconsider on March 6th. Maybe then he'll tone down his demeanor. Thank you. Courtroom 1, we can stop. All right, now he's going to be arrested for something else now. Thank you.
Your Honor, I would just ask that we just consider that he does have mental health. Your Honor, I understand that.
I will consider it, sir, and I'm going to require you to do a social worker visit while he's in. If he doesn't make bond, we need an SW visit during this time. Thank you. Okay. All right. That concludes the calendar. Anything? Courtroom 1, are you okay?
I'm great.
All right. Did you have any questions about any of the bonds? We just went down the list.
No, I got everything.
All right, great. You have a good weekend then. Thank you. All right, and Ms. Jenks, we will see position 4 on Mr. Gibson on Monday, okay?
Okay, thank you,
All
Judge.
right. everyone.
Sure. Have a good
Enjoy
weekend.
the rest of your weekend.
Y'all do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Have a good one.